What's up, guys? Sorry for the super long-standing delay, but we're back. Got some Symphonic Rain on the menu tonight. And I'm just trying to think of everything. You know, we are so close to finishing up everything. And with that comes my schedule that I've been given to you guys for the past since last decade. Figured I'd pop one of those jokes in there. I've been saying that, you know, we go by a schedule, and the next VN on our menu, of course, is the Muv-Luv trilogy. But, you know, the thing that supersedes that is the 7 remake demo plus subsequent 7 remake game itself. Now, sorry, I always get distracted when I try and talk and do this at the same time. So, since we finished up Crisis Core, and that 7 remake demo seems like nowhere in sight, I was just like, you know what? We need to finish up Symphonic Rain so we can start Muv-Luv. And honestly, I might take a break next week, that or continue up on Kingdom Hearts or something like that, just because next week is going to be a pretty big week for us. So Dragon Ball Kakarot, the RPG, first ever Dragon Ball RPG, I think first ever, comes out, and my girlfriend and I are going to be getting that one. I'm going to go ahead and be streaming that on a night one from 9 p.m. my time on Thursday, so a week from today, I'm going to go ahead and be streaming that one. And I'm honestly going to try and stream all of that game when I play it, so we'll see how everything else goes, but I guess that will take a little bit of, you know, relevance, and it will jump to the front of the queue, if you will, because it's, you know, it's brand new, and I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to see that. I don't know pretty much anything about Dragon Ball, so it'll be a fun ride for me, pretty funny. Probably hear my reactions to it. The just insane screaming for 20 minutes an episode, but I hate having to do multiple games at a time, especially with, you know, 7 remake looming. Now I think only 51 days away. So we'll see what happens. But I want to go ahead and finish this up by Saturday, and I know I think we're on par to do that because I know that the final 2 routes aren't too long from what I was reading. Fantastic welcome back, though, as we broke the record. And of course, you know, all I know, the 7 remake demo could drop tonight, so I have no idea. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but that's obviously gonna take relevance too, whenever that comes out. Yeah, so 52 days away from the 7 remake, so we're getting there. But most important thing now, we gotta get some Symphonic Rain in. Let's get on it. All right. It's been since it's been almost 2 weeks. That's insane. All right. Chris, good morning. Oh, once again, since I haven't streamed in a little bit, let me know how audio is. I think it's good though. Pretty sure. Oh, Torta, morning. As I was walking towards the school, she called out from behind. Torta usually arrived at the practice room before me, so it was rare to meet her outside. Are your mornings usually at this time? Usually. You're early today. I guess. I decided to practice seriously, and I think I'm starting to get used to waking up so early. Good. But I hope you can keep it up for the next 2 weeks. It'd be better if I could keep it up than how I was until yesterday. Is that sarcasm? It was, but I was only half serious. Even though you just said you were going to be serious. I will. I'm just saying yesterday was nice. Well, you can think whatever as long as you work hard. We talked about these things as we walked out to school. I realized how incredibly relieved I was to be with her having an innocuous conversation. But the peaceful atmosphere didn't last. Torta's offhanded comment instantly made me nervous and had declared the end. Eric's letter came like that always, right? Yeah. Torta said this without looking at me while she pulling sheet music out of her bag. So, how was her letter? It had nothing. Sorry, I guess that's weird of me to ask. This reminded me that Torta had also gotten a letter from Arrieta. Even though the contents were not the same, she at least probably had mentioned things that she wrote to me about. I wanted to know what was in hers. I tried asking nonchalantly, even though I had never asked that kind of thing to her. And yours said, uh, you know, well, the letter I got, do you want to hear it? If you want to, just let me know. I'll tell you, like you told me. You don't have to tell me what was in it. Okay. Let's just practice. She recomposed herself and said this like nothing happened. I thought there was still a lot that she wanted to say and we had to talk about, but we didn't have the time. I continued joking to try and dispel the heavy atmosphere. It has been a while. Come to think about it, I haven't sung for 3 days. I might have to start by remembering how to even sing. You never caught a cold when we were kids either. What, something you want to say? Not really, I just thought you were tough. It's proof I could take care of myself, so did you touch your fortelli at all? If it's just touching, I'm touching it now. I was in the middle of getting my fortelli out of the case and setting it up. Yeah, I did practice properly. Okay, I am going to be a bit out of practice though. I'm sure you're fine after just 3 days. All your work up until now was important. You'll be fine. Thanks for the words of praise. Listen. Hey, I'm kidding. I know what you mean. I sat in front of my fortelli that I had finished up setting up to show Torta I could play. She stopped the idle conversation there as if she was ready. But that idle conversation was more important than I thought. Until now, I had thought I didn't want to change our relationship, but it had greatly changed due to something small. I thought she was close yet far away, but at some point she became far away yet close. That's really... I like that quote. I thought she was close yet far away, but at some point she was far away yet close. At first glance, the distance between us didn't seem any different than before. But now I hope for our relationship didn't change, for no one else's sake but hers. The things I had thought about for Arrieta had changed about Torta. Torta and I both had changed. And so did the one of us that wasn't here. Oof. We were pretty good today, like we hadn't had any time off. Don't make such a big deal out of just 3 days. I didn't mean to, I was just saying we did well. Can't you just be happy? Yeah, but the people listening will judge us in the end. It's no good to praise ourselves until then. Because you especially let it go to your head, Chris. Alright, I won't praise you anymore then. Yeah, she's kind of mad online. Well, that's a little much. So just be happy. I am. Yeah. I said that honestly and she blushed shyly and nodded in surprise. Let's do the best graduation recital we can. Yes. She hesitated for a moment before answering cheerfully. Well, today isn't until noon. Sorry. We moved at the same time of our lunch break and practiced right until the last minute. Well, taking off day off seems just right, don't you think? That again. Anyways, I'm going. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Torta must have really been in a hurry as she ran outside. Perhaps it was because I was doing well before, but I was able to devote myself to the rest of practice time. As we were practicing one last time, we had even gotten yelled at by the lecturer by doing rounds yesterday. We had never experienced anything like that before or after, so we just laughed, and I got yelled at even more because of it. We hadn't even reached a decision about us yet, but at least I had told Arrieta the truth. And I was practicing hard with Torta. It may not have been the best, but it was better than doing nothing at all. Starting this month, no, from the end of last month, how many times have I just sighed? Even if we only practiced until noon, I was still tired. I felt the solitude especially strongly, left behind in the room with her gone. Up until now, I never felt that way, even if I spent the whole weekend alone. That was partially due to Forney, but more than I thought, Arrieta's letters gave me a sense of closeness. But now I really felt the distance between Arrieta and I was acutely aware of the fact that Torta was starting to fill in that gap. Oof. The fact that I felt lonely without Torta was there enough was proof. I didn't even sigh, I just breathed and I looked around. My body was tired. I decided to clean up quickly and just go home. Having decided this, I noticed that Torta left her sheet music on the stand which she was using when I was putting my fortelli in its case. She must have forgotten it when she ran away. We wouldn't practice any more today, so I could just give it to her tomorrow. I tried thinking about it in that way, but I wondered something. Like, did she really leave early because of a special practice or something like that? It was stupid. I couldn't just leave it there, so I put it in my bag and decided to give it to her tomorrow. I thought I had decided, but even during my ensemble with Forney, I couldn't help but think about her sheet music. I thought that it was likely she used it when she practiced at night, so in the end I just decided to go over to her house. Of course, there was a good chance she'd be out, but if she was just when she wasn't there, I could just ask Nina to give it to her instead. I walked to Torta's house, following the gutter so my shoes wouldn't get wet. I was walking through the straight road, and just as I moved under the roof of some shop, Torta's form from behind caught my eye. She was doing something in front of the... No. No! 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 Don't! No! No! No. There is no way. I predicted this weeks ago. Don't even mess around right now. The music has stopped. There's no way. Oh my. She was doing something in front of the mailbox. Of course she wouldn't be doing anything with it, so she must have been sending a letter. If that was all, I would have called her name right away, but the truth was I couldn't do that. I became transfixed by her profile. She stood in front of the mailbox, herself rain-drenched. Her eyes were watching the mailbox, or perhaps something further back inside. It wasn't quite a gaze. Her face was more relaxed. It was engrossed. Torta? She was peeking inside the open mailbox, not caring about anything. The rain, anything else. I hesitantly moved closer, and I called out to her again. Chris? Oh, I saw you at the perfect time. You know you forgot your sheet music today. Yeah. It'll get wet if I give it to you here, so let's move over a little. Okay. Sorry. Her clumsy behavior let me know right away that something was up. She had certainly sent a letter, but the recipient to who it was the question. I already knew the answer to that. I took Torta's hand, pulled her onto the roof, and brushed the rain away. Did you send a letter? Yeah. To who? It was Arrieta, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm sure that's who it was. I'm sure that's exactly who it was for. Yeah, it was for Arrieta. Could I not ask her what she wrote? Maybe, well, more than maybe, asking would be against the rules, but I just had to ask. What'd you write? Even the rain couldn't reach us, but I thought that the sound was louder when it was hitting me directly. Never mind. What did you finish what you had to do when sending it? Yes, dog. I'm sorry to cut you off. My dog is tweaking out like usual. I'll be right back. I hate, every time you guys, the stream gets interesting and the dog just starts losing it. Torta has plot armor with my dog. Alright, I'll be back. Hopefully it can only be like a minute. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. This dog. Alright, well, hopefully we could, sorry to leave you guys off on that cliffhanger. Hopefully there's no more interruptions. Alright, today was actually a day off. You took it off? I did. Then you wrote the letter. She nodded silently. In the end, the letter wouldn't leave my mind. The thread of conversation had been cut, and I couldn't say anything else to her. Maybe it would have been best for Torta if I just gave her the sheet music and went back home? As I was imagining this in my mind, she began speaking haltingly. There was a letter from Ari on Sunday, and she asked me about if I liked you. It was almost the same as mine. That was your reply now? I sent out a reply on Monday, but there were things I wrote in there that I had to correct. So I sent a new letter. Yeah. That's what they all say, bub. Set the record straight. I wrote that I hated you. I wrote that I didn't like you, but I like you. I really do like you, so I wrote a new letter. She said this and started to cry. But her tears were erased by the rain from her hair and soon disappeared. Even if it only seemed like I couldn't see them, I felt it strongly. And then... CG? CG. I put my arms around her. Reason told me not to, but my heart refused to listen to reason. Torta's body, wet from her rain and from rain in her tears, was smaller and colder than I thought. Chris? She murmured with a face devoid of life. It wasn't hard to see the trails of tears in that voice, but I definitely looked. At her weak, her helpless, lovely tears. I'm being terrible. I'm sorry. She apologized to someone who wasn't there. I'm sorry. Torta? Then her arms, which had been hanging limply, circled around my waist. With shaking hands, she finally put strength into her arms. I answered with the strength of my own and pulled her delicate body close. Then we parted, without saying another word. We had practice together again tomorrow. I mustn't catch a cold. Thus were her last words to me. Look at that meter. Hold on, is my follow bar still... If my follow bar is there, I did it accidentally. It is. Okay, hold on. Let me turn that off. There we go. Alright. After dinner, Torta, Nina, and I sat peacefully around the dinner table. Nina's cooking was amazingly delicious as always. I couldn't find any other way to describe it. With delicious food like that in our mouths, we spoke, or it would have been nice if we could have. Perhaps it was because Torta and I were paying too much attention to each other, but the conversation continued clumsily. Nina must have understood most of what was going on. She didn't say anything, but each time our conversation stalled, she'd heave a very deep sigh and change the topic. We talked many times about our hometown, but strangely, Arrieta's name never came up. Well, I'll go get some more tea. I got it. No, it's okay. Just stay where you are, both of you. Okay, then. Chris, you're the guest, so just stay seated over there. I will make us some nice warm tea. I'll help, then. Torta, are you trying to take away my only entertainment? Making delicious tea after a meal is the hobby. She said that, but she still attended concert like always, so I think she also had that as well as cooking. Of course, Torta and I knew that Nina was leaving the room out of consideration for the two of us, but this time I couldn't really feel grateful. Nina made sure we had nothing else to say, gave us both a satisfied smile, and disappeared. Left behind, we looked at each other's faces and cast our eyes both down. Every time I saw Torta since that day, I hugged her like it had been like this. We obviously couldn't worry about it during practice, but when we met again in the practice room in the morning, and when practice was over, we shared only a few words, only having business-like conversations. I didn't plan to explain what I did. I didn't want to apologize for it either. All I did was tell her how I felt, and I couldn't even do that well. The shadow of guilt deep in my heart was certainly the reason for that. I hadn't made any decisions about Arrieta. I couldn't write a new letter like Torta did at that same token. My heart was starting to lean towards Torta, and the truth was I wasn't actually trying to. It was because I liked Torta, but I couldn't break up with Arrieta for such a simple reason. Because I liked Arrieta, too. I couldn't believe how terrible I was. My indecisiveness would probably hurt both of them even more than what it was. That's the most likely outcome. But I would wait at least until graduation was over. With that excuse, I waited for Arrieta's letter. You're thinking again? Her voice pulled me back into reality. Her voice was kind, with no hint of blame. And my heart ached. Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't have anything to apologize for. She said this lightly and grinned. It reminded me so much of Arrieta. Whenever I came out of one of my reveries, Ari would be right there, gazing at me. Then, when I noticed her looking, she'd say, "Thinking?" and she'd smile. Finally, 1 week left. Oh, man, our recital's on a Friday. That's only 4 days. She continued naturally like her heart really meant it. We can only have Miss Cordell listen to us a final time. Yeah. Did you hear who Asano's partner is? No. She's a cute first year. Oh, so he found someone. That's just like Asano then. It's a young male voice student though, so that's kind of surprising. What? Oh, I knew you'd be surprised. He said he wanted to get a girl. It seems like he stayed away from them. Stayed away? Asano did say something about getting dumped. That was definitely falsetto. Based. But if he had really got dumped, he wouldn't do that. Why do you know? He told me when I saw him at school 2 days ago. I thought he knew, or I thought you knew. He didn't say anything when I saw him on Monday. Maybe he decided to tell you after he told me? I guess that's one less thing to worry about. It was a while ago, but he did said the same thing. Why? Because you found a better partner than you deserve. Is that something people normally say? Oh, it was Asano who said that. There was a little sarcasm, I think, though. That's believable. Hey, that's mean. No, I think you're a better partner than I deserve. Really? Really. Hey, stop saying that so seriously. No, I look serious because it's true. Come on. That was a compliment. Oh, good smell from the kitchen. I'm gonna go help her. She had her say and she disappeared into the kitchen. I had to somehow return my blushing face and all before Nina came back. Okay, I'm gonna be going now. It's late. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Come again. The uncomfortable atmosphere between us returned to a little to normal thanks to Nina. Nina laughed as if she knew. I didn't feel grateful for that at first, but that was a huge mistake. Any reason would have been fine. All I needed was time to really talk to her face to face, and I didn't mind what we talked about, be it aimless conversation or chatting. Not in a place where we could escape into practice or a place where we can get away from each other right away saying, see you later. I needed time like that. Nina understood that. Don't be late tomorrow. I know, I'll ask Cordell to listen to us again. Please do. Okay. See you tomorrow? No. Yeah, never mind. See you tomorrow. Yeah. I found myself thinking of Torta on the walk home. What was the expression she had worn at the end? I solved that question right away. Today was Sunday, the day Arrieta's letter would arrive. Torta went outside once before we ate. It was because Nina asked her to go shopping, but it was already evening. Arrieta's letter, had she already read it? Both were possibilities. But more than that, the problem was that I almost didn't care. When Forney asked me that morning what time I'd be home, I said after dinner and I left. She just grinned and said goodbye. I didn't think I'd forgotten, but somewhere in my mind I put it off. Until I went home that night, until I read Arrieta's letter, and until the graduation recital was over. That's all I was thinking about, but now I realized it. I had to give a clear answer to solve this problem. Torta's smiling face I saw that day and the strain she showed me at the end. I didn't want to make Torta look that way anymore. I realized I already had the answer.
She got that Tonka truck. No horns crossed fingers.
Oh, she got that Tonka truck, no Chevy. Thank you for the sub. What a time, man. I cannot believe that the robot said that. Chris, I read your letter. Oh, God. Thanks to that humor before this inevitable downfall. This time her letter started with a short sentence. Chris, I read your letter. I told you not to write your feelings about me, but you did it anyway. If you hadn't done that, I could have told you my thoughts. You're too kind, and it's not fair. But this is a problem we have to be clear about. I knew that you liked Torta from the start. But that's why I wanted you to say in your letter that wasn't the case. I wanted you to make me feel better. But you're kind, and that's not fair, so you told me the horrible truth. But then you said you like me. You can't say things that will give me false hope. Because I'll believe what you say, and I'll wait for you forever. But I've decided not to wait for you this time, because I know that Torta likes you too. You're far away, I can't see you. You've been feeling further and further away to me, and I've realized that I'm not worried about you at all. Torta's always with you, because she cares about you. I just can't do it anymore. Now just listen to what Torta says, and if you really do like Torta, then believe her. Even if you don't know what it means now, you'll understand someday. Please don't forget my words until then, and don't reply. Because I'll think of you, and I'll begin to cry. Arrieta. I read it over and over and took quite a while before I finally realized that she was breaking up with me. It had been my plan to write a letter to break up with her. I thought I couldn't apologize enough, so my plan was just to write the words first and tell her my true feelings. There was no need for that letter now. Torta 100% wrote that. Was this the ending I really desired? Thank you, Delita, very epic. The name disappeared without reaching anyone's ears, swallowed by the air. I could do nothing but accept the fact. Oh, that depression meter just rose a big chunk. It was difficult to ask pleasantly to be woken up that next morning. After I read the letter, Forney appeared to me once again but then disappeared. Without asking me for an ensemble or just being indecisive, she said, "That's good," and left. Forney? Morning, did you call me? No, not really. What's up? You suddenly disappeared without saying anything yesterday. I was feeling that she didn't appear even when I called her, and I was inwardly surprised I had asked her about it yesterday. It wasn't sudden, it was good. I think she is going to spill the secret of the world. That's not what I meant. I thought you wanted to be left alone. Didn't you want to do our ensemble? You never usually leave me alone about that. But it's not necessary anymore. Necessary? You need energy for your practice with Torta now. So you performed an ensemble with me because it was necessary? No, I wanted to. Then where's the lie? I just wanted to sing. Then you could. How many days do you think are left until the graduation recital? You sound like Torta. You have to treat time preciously now. You have to spend as much time with her as you can. Why do I have to hear that from you? She continued in a more adult tone than usual. I can't be with you anymore. You're gonna leave here when you graduate, right? I'm gonna stay. Would you mind coming with me if I asked? That's impossible. I can't leave this place. You've been outside with me lots of times. Can I just bring you with me? You can't say that to other girls, okay? I'll be mad if you make Torta cry. This is a really good music box rendition of the opening. I won't. I only said it because it's you. That's no good either. I'm a girl too, after all. I'd like it if you didn't invite me so lightly. Dummy. Who is? Both of us. But it is true that you can't leave this place? It's true. You think I'd lie? I wonder. I think you would. That's true. You're dummy. But nobody noticed you until I got here. What are you gonna do now? I guess I'll wait till someone else can see me. And if no one sees me, then I won't exist anymore. You're being ridiculous. I'm making assumptions, but it's okay. I'm here alone. It wouldn't be strange if there was somebody else who could see me. Why is it only this apartment? Because this is where students from the music school live. And because I'm a music fairy. It's fine. Just think about yourself now. I can't. I mean, you... Forney? To me, you're... What was she? I can't find the... Why did she question her own name? I can't find the right words. You're important to me. A sister? A friend? None of those words seemed to be right. But if you asked if she was my girlfriend, of course that wasn't the answer. If I didn't have Arrieta or Torta, assumptions like that meant nothing. Even more meaningless than what Forney was talking about before. That's fine like that. I'm me. I wouldn't want to be called just your friend, so it's fine. Forney. Okay, that's too much talk for the morning. If you don't go to practice soon, Torta's going to be mad at you. Right. I don't know how much time I have, but let's perform our ensemble one last time when I get home. That's the opposite. Do you not like it? I don't mind. I'll be waiting. Are you going to be back late? A little. I want to talk to Torta. Good. If you came without talking to Torta, I'd have to give you a spanking. Oh, stop. Now Chris says it. I'm leaving today. I'll call you when I get home. Will you appear? I guess there's no other way to say it. Alright, I'm off. Yeah, have a good day today. It's absolutely pouring rain. I was really able to talk about Forney, or talk to Forney, my bad, so I feel a little refreshed. I realized that I haven't been able to talk about leaving or anything. That may have been one of the reasons why it didn't feel real, but I still couldn't imagine living here without Forney around. If Forney hadn't brought up our parting, I probably still wouldn't have thought about it. When I thought about that fact, only a short time left with her, I felt strangely lonely. I hoped that I could at least enjoy the remaining time. To keep my promise to Torta, I stopped by Cordell's classroom before I went to the practice room. Forney had hurried me along, but when I arrived it was only 10:15. Torta was probably already in the practice room, but I still wasn't late. Huh? Good morning. Oh, good morning. Do you want to talk? I was hoping you could watch our practice before recital. I see. Good dedication. I'm free this afternoon. What do you want me to do? Are you busy right now? The other student I'm with I'm always worried about is coming. Is it Asano? Yeah, he found a partner. Have you heard? Tortanita told me. I see. I'm surprised. It's a cute first-year student? Yeah, they'll be here together. There's almost no time. It's only until noon today, but I'm going to use that time with them to the fullest. That poor kid. If Miss Cordell said that, it really would be hard for him. They should be here soon. Do you want to see them practice? I'll hold my excitement until the recital. Yeah, just do that. Miss Cordell looked like she was enjoying herself. When I entered the practice room, Torta was there, and she was ready to go. Morning, you made it. Morning, I'm not late. I went to go see Miss Cordell. Oh, thanks. Will she come watch us today? Yeah, at noon. Until then, we can practice? Of course, we have to work hard today. I know. Our morning practice was finished, and we had eaten. We had to go to the classroom. Alright, let's go. Yeah, this will probably be the last time she'll ever be able to watch us. She's probably really busy too, starting tomorrow. The same goes for the recital, but we can't take it easy. Torta and I nodded, and we went to go see Miss Cordell. Excuse me. We said this together as we entered, and two students were in the middle of practice. Upon entering, their performance stopped. Oh, sorry, it's too early. Yeah, we're not done yet, but you're not early, so don't worry. Regardless, we've been going without break. It's Asano's fault. Hey, I said I was sorry. It's fine. That's all for today. Are you guys both free tomorrow? Yeah, we are. Good. It happens I am too. Come in the morning. In the morning? How many times do I have to say it? Understood. It looks like you're working hard. Shut up. Go on ahead. I'll meet you in the practice room later. He said this to the innocent-looking young male student. Oh, I'll be waiting then too. Miss Cordell's gonna watch us now. I'm sure she'll take a break before that. She didn't even eat lunch. Thank you for the kind words. If you hadn't been the reason for that, I would have been touched. Sorry. It is fine. I'll not drag it out then. We're good though. Torta? Oh yeah, we don't mind waiting. We'll just stay in practice here anyway. So it seems. Asano? I'll be sticking around to practice too. I know. Be thankful to your friends. In that case, I suppose I'll take you up on the offer. Use the room as you please until I get back from lunch. Miss Cordell flashed a smile that showed nothing of how busy she was and went outside. Asano looked up at me and shrugged. She said to be thankful. I just got you an extra hour. You should thank me. My hero. You know us two could play whenever. That's right, but that was unexpected. You have strange tastes. Shut up. He's my friend's little brother. I just wanted a girl, though. Then why didn't you? Because there are circumstances. You staying away from girls now? Tortanita? It came up in conversation. I'm sorry. What conversation? Have sympathy. Look, this is Tortanita's true nature. You're being deceived. I've known that for a long time. What? I haven't actually seen it in a while, but you were like that when we were kids. That's just like you, right? I don't want to be uncouth. I guess love is blind. That's not it. You two sure are in sync. That's not it either. Are you denying? No. Oh, you are cute. Shut up. Can you just go to practice? I really should. With what other session, because Cordell's looming tomorrow. Anyway, happy for you, Tortanita. Asano left looking very happy for some reason. Torta? What? You're friendlier with him than I thought. Is that how it looks? It did. People don't normally say they're happy for you. That was teasing. If you say so. Come on, let's not waste time talking. Let's practice till she gets back. Yeah, I won't resist. Good. It had been a while since we started talking regularly like this. Of course, I was always with Torta, so we had plenty of amiable conversations. But it really had been a while since I'd had dumb and fun. It might only have been past few times since I've come to the school. I felt like that kind of thing happened naturally every day when I was a kid. I started getting my fortele ready as I watched Torta prepare her sheet music from the corner of my eye. Miss Cordell came back before 30 minutes. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. It looks like you're ready. Yeah, we're ready whenever. You have plenty of confidence today. Yeah, some. Hey, say that with more confidence. I'm fine. Leave it to me. Right, let's begin. Yes, ma'am. Alright, let us not fail this. As much as I really want to read the plot, because we're like... as we've seen... right after the graduation recital, the route maybe has 10 minutes left, and then it's over. I really thought the grandmother was going to die in this route. So I'm glad to see that she hasn't. Man, these lyrics really hit different down. That's a full clear. Oh my. Wow. Okay. Top 500 Osu player. Just broke the record. I cannot believe I just full cleared that. We played over and over again until Miss Cordell was satisfied. Out of the 501 people that play Osu, I was top 500. I felt like we were getting very close to Torta's dream of the best performance possible. That's enough. The next thing I knew, it was dark outside. Both of us, out of breath, replied, "Thank you." That's a pass. That's strict. You'll thank me for that strictness. Ah, good. I didn't know what I would have done if you had said I still wasn't cutting it. I'm sure you both know how best you performed. I wouldn't say anything more. Decide for yourself and do your best at the recital. Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. To both of you. I'll tell you afterwards. I wouldn't want you worrying. That just makes me interested, but you made me interested in a good way. Well, that's how it is. Yeah, so, until the recital? I'm personally excited about it. For Asano as well. It will be too bad to lose the excitement about the recital. I'm excited for the music. Is the program decided? It posted on the school bulletin board. Didn't you know? No, I thought Chris knew. That's no good. Chris is first in the afternoon, he's last. Or Asano's last in the afternoon. Meanwhile, he's the last of the day. Your performance will already be over, so you can just relax and watch his. Our last practice will be during the lunch break. Please don't talk about that. Are you tired? You can practice in moderation until then, though I don't mind if you wake up early to practice. Stop that. Torta's gonna take it seriously. I was saying it seriously. See? Yeah. The morning of the recital, 10 o'clock. Is that okay? Well, that depends on how well we do the day before. Then I'll do my best. Looking forward to it. Many things happened that morning. Cordell's special practice was harder than I thought it would be, and I felt sorry for Asano. He had to do that special practice all day tomorrow. Anyway, I was able to talk to many. Perhaps I should say all those who were helping me. It was only 3 people, one of whom was a magic fairy, but all of them meant a lot to me. And the most important person was the one right next to me. Torta, are you cold? What, are you being a gentleman? That doesn't suit you. Asano's the same, but why do you people take kindness that way? Because you said something you never would. That's because I can no longer treat you in a normal way. You can't? Well, no. She must have realized the reason, so she blushed and cast her eyes down. Her feelings changed in an instant. Maybe she remembered what Asano said. Maybe she remembered Arrieta's letter. Torta, there's something I want to talk to you about today. Sure. The piazza was very close. We didn't need to talk about it at home. She didn't seem very cold, so it would be alright if I took a while. We sat down at the rim of the fountain and talked about the future. Torta's face was still nervous. Arrieta's letter came yesterday. Yeah. One came for you? Yeah. Then I don't have to tell you what it said. Maybe. That was a problem in progressing the current conversation. I got a breakup letter from Arrieta, but that didn't mean I couldn't just start with a Torta. I thought that would be a little bit much. Even if I had liked Torta the whole time, I'd also liked Arrieta up until now. No, I still liked Arrieta. We had just broken up, so my feelings couldn't change. I decided to tell her honestly how I felt. Arrieta wrote so that she was breaking up with me. She probably said the same thing to you. She did. About that, I accept it, because of what Arrieta said and because of how I really feel. You really feel? I like you. I know this isn't the right time to say this kind of thing. I know that saying it right after the breakup is probably the worst thing I could tell you. But with what happened before, I just want to. Yeah. So I'm not asking what you want to do with me or anything. I just want to tell you that I like you. And that's enough for you? It's all. What if I said I liked you too? It was a different situation then. Arrieta was still my girlfriend, and I'm sure that you wanted to tell me too. Let's talk again after the graduation recital. Just ask me for my answer then. Do you still have feelings for my sister? If I'm being honest, I do. I can't stop liking someone who just broke up with me the next day. No, you don't have to stop liking her. Just if you like me most. Oof. Ah! That's fine. But let's just leave it all after the graduation recital. Now we just won't have to work hard to give a good performance. It won't be too late. You're right. Let's practice again from tomorrow. The only saving grace is it's the day before, so let's rest up. 2 days. Thursday's a little the day before, so let's rest up until then. I guess Cordell did say that. That's a good idea. Okay, let's go home. It's a little late. Right. We stood up and walked towards our old district. The calzone guy isn't here today. Ah, it's late at night. Did you come back after Natale? Oh, just once. Did you listen to the old man play the accordion? Not yet. I wanted to hear it one more time before I leave here. He seems nice. How about Sunday? Do you want to walk around town? That'd be nice. I didn't think that the day would come tomorrow that we'd be able to talk so naturally. As always, I didn't think that it would happen after I left the school, but it was least likely I'd be able to be with Torta. However, I just couldn't try to be with her right away. I felt guilty, and it would be unkind toward Nita. Even if Torta asked me herself. It seemed that Torta understood this too. For the moment, I would just think of Torta as the one I liked the most, and it's about the graduation recital. I could think about whatever else after the time came. The night before the recital, we spent the time peacefully at her house. We started practice in the afternoon and stopped in the evening, just as Cordell had told us. The three of us sat around the dinner table and chatted late until night. Nina went back to her room all alone. It was still early, so she must have... Okay, I want to note something. Alright? And once again, 100% could be wrong, lads. 100% could be wrong. Every single night, the night before the recital, something bad happens. In Falsita's route, she came out as the Machiavellian 700 IQ underwater chess master. In the Lise route, remember, she was like beaten and all that kind of stuff. Relatively speaking, nothing bad has happened in the Torta route. So, I'm just giving you guys a forewarning. If this route is going to follow the other pathways, something bad's going to happen tonight. Left alone, we sat facing each other and we were quiet for a while. Hey. Huh. Tomorrow's the day. You're right. The herbal tea that Nina made for us got cold. I brought the cup clumsily to my mouth to my wet, dry lips. To wet my dry whips. I wonder what we're going to do after tomorrow. Maybe we should wait until evening. Or, I'm sorry. Wait until everything is finished tomorrow to decide. We need to talk. About a lot of things. Yeah, about what's going to happen, what has happened, about Arrieta, about you. That was definitely the result I was going for. What's wrong? You look sad. Maybe because I am. Arrieta? Torta had no difficulty saying the name. Yeah. So I answered her straight. I wasn't avoiding it. I see. I guess you would be. Torta? Huh. You know I really do like you. She didn't answer. She just looked at me straight back, straight in my eyes. The next instant she started talking about something totally different. So when the recital's over, where are we meeting? So we could talk? Yeah. It's a little too much to talk as soon as we're finished. Right. When and where? If I can choose, I want tomorrow night at your house. So you want me to wait for you in my house tomorrow? Or my apartment tomorrow? Yeah, I'll come after I change. Okay. Everything could start then. I couldn't say anything about my feelings or even any words for now. In that case, I should go home soon. It's already late, so it is. I stood up from the chair and said one last thing. Let's give our best tomorrow. Yeah. She answered me cheerfully, as always. Wow, nothing bad happened! How wholesome! I opened my eyes before my alarm clock. I usually woke up like that on the day of performance. I felt almost none of the nervousness I had yesterday. I inhaled the fresh, crisp morning air and I woke up. Hey, morning! Morning. Today's the day. Yeah. She said this while looking at me from the window. I wondered how long she'd been there. Have you decided what you're going to do after? The truth is, not yet. What are you going to do like that? Didn't Torta say anything? We're going to talk about it from now. We'll talk about things and then decide. You're going to talk? When? Today. We're meeting after the recital. So she's going to come here. Will you be with her now, no matter what? It depends on what we talk about. You know what she's going to say. I hope I do. So if Torta wants to, you'll be together for a long time? I think so. Well, I'm relieved. As if from the bottom of her heart, she answered in an adult tone, more than usual. Why are you relieved? Because I was worried about you. Yeah, well, you know, I'm worried about you. Thanks, I'm grateful, but I'm good. How so? I'll disappear soon. Disappear? That's not what I mean. I'll just be in the way when Torta came over. Even though you're always in the way. That's why. Today, I'll stay away. Well, thanks, then. Sure. I had gotten a little gloomy, but I still had time with Forney. I'd take care of things with Torta and I could talk to Forney. I took off my shirt to take a shower and I started getting ready for the day. Okay, I'll be back. You're leaving? Huh? She called out to me from the table as I walked to the door. Yeah, that's the plan. Then could I ask you for something? If it won't take too long. Put me on your shoulder. You want to see the recital? No, just hurry. Okay, fine. I put Forney on the shoulder and she snickered lightly. Hey, that tickles. Just hold on. I don't have to hold on for no reason. There is one. I suddenly felt something touch my cheek. It was just a moment like my cheek was brushed by hair in the breeze. The next thing I knew, she glided down to the table and was looking up to me. Okay, have a nice day. What did you just do? Secret. Secret? Okay, well, just hurry up and go. I want an explanation for what you did when I get back. Too bad, I won't be here. Then tomorrow. Ah, whatever. Bye. I left behind Forney, who was strange, and went outside. I still had time. I didn't have to hurry. The recital was in the afternoon anyway. Since Asano's turn was the last day of the afternoon, I could practice for over an hour and even do what I wanted to on my lunch break. Most importantly, I had to warm myself up and play over and over like it was the real thing. Good morning. Morning. There were already no people in front of the school? The program began at 9, so most students were either in the concert hall or practicing. The graduation recitals would be over a week. The first day was for tele students, which would be done in one day. There were just 230 students, but of course there were lyricists and Dunlike who had no recital. The remaining majors filled the final two. The Fortelli students were split into 30 groups, each given 10 minutes. It was set up so about half the students would be finished in 2.5 hours in the morning, and the others would finish around 4:30. I'd be free until the night, so my plan was to watch Torta until Asano played. What are you thinking? Let's go warm up. Yeah. Still the best song in this game. I kept the clock on the wall of the practice room in mind, but threw myself into practice, and the next thing I knew, it was already noon. It must have been about 30 minutes before the recital. Now then, it looks like you can't help but get distracted. Let's go to the hall early. No, I was doing it seriously. I'll give you that much, but you just kept looking over at the clock, so I couldn't help but notice. Sorry. It's okay. We have to wait by the stage 10 minutes before the recital anyway. Oh, right. Maybe it was a lunch break. Everyone was quiet. Normally I would have just stand there listening to the person before me, but since we were the first act, all we heard was the crowd talking. Just as it was time for the people to go back inside, I heard a door. The buzz grew from after that, and my nervousness increased. The curtain on the stage was still closed, so I got my Fortelli up and began right away. All I had to do now was go on stage and perform. This makes me kind of nervous, I suppose. I hope someone I know is here. Asano's still practicing desperately. I bet he's catching hell from Cordell. Unlikely, I'm here. Oh, good morning. Yeah, good morning. I'll be watching from backstage all day today. Some students of mine are going to play. Yeah. Don't be nervous. Be confident. You'll do well. I can guarantee it. Having you tell me that feels very reassuring. Right. And you'll be fine too, Tortanita. Yes, I will. She answered with confidence. The buzzer sounded and I could see the hall get dark. A voice announcing the program resounded and the recital curtain was raised. Fortelli was already set up on stage, so we were lined up. Show them what you got. She whispered this to me and went on ahead to further urge me on. The applause was loud enough to hurt my ears, but it soon subsided and the area was filled with silence. Even the sound of setting the sheet music on the Sam seemed to just stand echoed in my head. Chris? Let's do our best. Yeah. Torta whispered in a voice that could barely touch my ears. She wasn't really moving her lips. I don't even think anyone heard. Her words encouraged me and I sat in the chair in front of the Fortelli, relaxed. Then she looked at me. Our eyes met, we synchronized our breathing, and the time that took to do so was surprisingly short. Our feelings were already one. Torta's voice rang out well in the hall, and so did the sound of my Fortelli. The two sounds mixed and each boosted each other like the notes were changing into something else, changing into something that a voice or a Fortelli alone could never achieve. Then they coalesced into a completed work called music. We were nothing more than a part of that structure, but by virtue, the music itself was also us. We accepted the waves that made up the sound with not only our ears, but our whole entire bodies. It seemed that only last an instant, out at the same time it seemed to continue forever. Time passed steadily despite this, and my consciousness was pulled back into the world. Then, the final note. With everything finished, the hall was silent, and then another wave of sound threatened to engulf us. This time it did hurt my ears, and I almost forgot to bow. I met Torta's eyes, we bowed together, and we descended from the stage. The applause didn't even stop, and my ears were still ringing. Congrats. Thanks. This might be the last time, so I'll give you an honest compliment. That was truly superb. What? You too. You guys will be fine as professionals. That is just how good that was. She too was listening at Miss Cordell's words, stunned. We didn't know how to respond to a compliment. No, it would have been best just to accept it, but that couldn't be it either. Why aren't you guys happier? I will when I get my feelings in order. You're staying until the end, aren't you? Yeah. I won't go home until I see Asano's performance. I see. Just know you guys did a great job. She looked truly happy and patted me on the head. It was the first time she'd done that, but she looked truly happy, so I just let it happen. Standing next to me, Torta seemed to have finally grasped the situation and started speaking timidly. It's really over. Yeah. It was good, wasn't it? Our performance? Yeah. What's wrong? I feel spent. Me too. I wasn't very nervous during the recital, but now that it was over, I had fully grasped the fact. My body suddenly felt weak and my legs were shaking. It truly was over. I could just relax and watch Asano's recital and then go home. And of course, I had a lot of things to do with Torta after that. But just for now, I wanted to sit in a chair and enjoy the feeling of relief. With all the recitals finished for the day, many people left the hall. We moved to the side as to not get swept up in the crowd of people and waited for Asano in the rain. We didn't have any plans, but he would probably have time to meet us and chat. This was the only entrance. Torta and I watched the stream of people carefully as to not miss Asano, and a face I recognized saw us and nodded. Oh, hello, best girl. I heard your recital. Impressive. Thank you. I watched the whole thing, but you and Chris were the best. I almost regretted I couldn't sing with you. I regret it too. That's a compliment. Accept it gracefully. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry if that was ambiguous. But your recital's tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, vocals start tomorrow. You plan to listen to every recital this week? Of course not. Just the Fortele students. I hope it will help me graduate after I become a professional musician. That's impressive. It seemed like she already had everything decided after graduation. She talked about becoming a professional, but Val really could be one. I didn't have any chances to play with her, but she had true ability. Well, I'll be going. Right. I don't want to impose. Saying this, she walked away, and after that, Asano appeared. Look who it is. Ah, good work. You're a little late. Miss Cordell gave me an earful. She said I still got a long way to go. How about you guys? She smothered us with praise. No way. Really? She was in a surprisingly good news. Wow. She's always different when it comes to you. Asano? Ah, it's fine. I did the best I could. Yeah, I heard you played. I thought you did do good. Thanks, but with you being praised from Cordell, she's strict, you know. She is. It's not that, though. Anyway, I'm in a bit of a hurry. Sorry, guys. A hurry? I'm meeting someone. None of your business. It's none of my business, but... it's whatever, dude. I had to get going. Alright, I'll see you at the next graduation ceremony? Yeah. I'll see you guys around. Later. We watched Asano walk away. There were a lot of people at the end, but now there were so few you could count them. Perhaps the students had plans to get together and have fun after the recital, but they were sparse. On the last day, the students would probably be more exuberant, but the relative calm of the first was also expected. Regardless, that had nothing to do with Torta and I. I didn't have anyone I would call a friend besides Asano, so I watched her get from the corner of my eye and walked to the gate. Okay, see you later tonight then. She waved from the usual spot. See you later. There was nothing more to say. We could both talk later until we were satisfied. I started walking away, but something caught my eye, so I turned around. She was in the same place, watching me with a sad face. Huh? I'll come see you later. Yeah. I will come see you, so wait. Okay. Guide says save when she says this. So let's go ahead and save at slot number 12. Wait. Slot 20. Remember this, lads. Slot 20 is this save. So it says save here, as this ending is going to change based off of where we're supposed to... I don't know. Whatever. So what are we waiting for? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for holding you up. Everything's fine, though. Torta? See you. She ran off, not minding the puddles, leaving only behind the sound of her footsteps. I felt a truly wordless unease, but I believed her. At least there shouldn't have been. The towel in the entryway was there as always. I want to make sure this is right. Okay, never mind. She must have left it for me. I wiped my hair and started playing the Fortelli to kill time. My interest wasn't peaked yet, but I almost couldn't feel my exhaustion. I didn't think Forney would appear until Torta came, and she showed no signs of coming out. Having a talk with someone was certainly important to Torta and I, but for someone involved it would be annoying. I was really tired, so I laid on the bed. I hadn't planned to, but I ended up falling asleep. It was dark outside, and I couldn't tell that but quite a bit of time had passed. I checked the clock and saw it was 9. 4 hours had already passed. I thought I'd eat dinner, so I hadn't eaten anything, but it was too late to ask. Even if I wanted to eat out, after 9 most shops are closed. Why was she so late? Maybe she was waiting for something, maybe she was confused. Though it was true that we hadn't agreed on a time, but something was strange. I started to think about leaving to go get Torta at her house when there was a sudden knock. Oh, she was just a little late. It wasn't... Watch, Arrieta's at the door. Boom! Alright. When I was recommended this VN, alright, I was told that the reason why this is considered to be a Nakige is because you do not see the plot twist coming. I told the person who recommended this to me, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm usually pretty good. Like, I'm able to go ahead and read between the lines and figure stuff out. I called this weeks ago. And now we get to watch this dumpster fire burn. Alright. Ah, God. Okay, here we go. Why was Arrieta here? Not Torta. Sorry, I came to see you. She said this after a long silence. When? Just now. Oh, but why? I wanted to make sure of one thing. I was stunned at the suddenness of it. It reminded me of how Ari suddenly appeared at New Year's. But the situation was totally not different now. How about Torta? Did you go see her? Yeah, I saw her and we talked. Ah, she's still keeping up the act! Just what did Ari and Torta talk about? Come on, dude, figure it out. And I wondered why Ari was here and Torta wasn't. You wrote it in your last letter, didn't you, that you liked Torta, but you said you liked me. Now, do you feel the same with me right here? I was at a loss for words. I wondered what I should even say. What I had to say was decided. I took some time and answered her properly. I'm sorry, I still feel the same. Oh. The words caught in my throat wouldn't come out. I didn't know what better to do after this. But Ari simply nodded as if to erase the problem. Then I have to go home. The last train will be leaving. You're not staying at Nina's house? No, she's going to go put on her ribbon, change her clothes, and then come back. Bye. It's already late, so I'll walk you to the station. Do that with Torta. No, let me do that much, please. Natalia and the New Year had already passed and quiet had returned to the city. Even so, I couldn't walk her alone at night. Breaking up suddenly in the form of a letter still didn't feel real anyway. Even if we were headed for a breakup, we needed to talk. We probably both needed closure regardless. We needed to talk. Alright. Thank you, but just wait a minute. I had Ari wait in the entryway, pulled a piece of music out of my bag and left a short note for Torta. I put it on the table where it would be easy to see, and I headed out. To Torta, I'll be right back. Please wait here. After we got out of the alleys and made to the main road, it was a straight route into the train station. As we left the old district and entered the new, there was only one route. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? I was the one who said I liked you, and this is how it ends. Then it's the same. She said those words on top of my own. The same? I was the one who broke up with you. You don't have to do anything to worry about. But it's fine. Let's just talk about old times. Got it, if that's what you want. Yeah. She spoke cheerfully, but she was forcing it. I tried to hear her voice better, but the sound of the rain on the roof was strong, and I could only hear her sporadically. We've been together ever since we were little. I wondered if she really wanted to talk about old times, even if the old memories of the past filled with regret. If Arrieta still wanted to hear it, I had to answer her. When was it that you realized that we were two different people? We different? We're twins, so most people thought we were the same. Even we thought we were the same. She said, yeah, I bet. Torta said the same thing at one point. I bet she did. Then she said it was starting to change. We each had things we were lacking and the other made up for it. But that has changed and you're the reason. I am. You're the one that separated us, Chris. That's besides Mom, Dad, and Grandma. The first person to see us is different people. Yeah. Look at the town change as we walked and talked. You always understood, Chris. Even if we changed our clothes or our hair, you never mixed up our names. Ha 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 ha! Yeah. Ari and Torta used to play pranks like that a lot. Even so, the twins' parents and I could always tell them apart. I never really knew why. I knew Ari was Ari, Torta was Torta. And then you chose one of us. There was a hush over the station, a place just off the main road. In the middle of the rain-soaked street, we stood and had our last conversation. I'm gonna go. Right. Can I say one last thing? If you change your mind, call my name. What? The train is gonna leave soon. I have to go through those gates. She pointed to the gates. If you call my name while I'm walking over there, I will turn around and I will run back to you. It only has to be once. This is the last time. You will lose sight of me after this. She said this and started walking slowly. She didn't wait for my words. Arrieta. I didn't call that name. I couldn't. Her back was near. I had many chances as she took steps, but I watched her silently. I imagined myself calling her name, and Ari's happy face as she ran. But I didn't open up my mouth once. I protected my silence. She turned around and looked at me just once. Our gazes met, and she was the one who turned away. I lost sight, and I walked back to my apartment. There was another person waiting for me, Tortanita. That was the name of the person more important to me than anyone. Surprise, surprise! She's not going to be there! Whoa! Oh, yeah. We got an ending song. Is this, No, we haven't heard this one. We haven't heard this song yet. Someone needs to put this background with Fly Me to the Moon from Evangelion. This song seems sad as fork. What song is this? Let me search this up. The song is called Even When Crying. Oh, God. Not the happiest of songs. Wait, no, this isn't Even When Crying. What song is this? This is not a happy song. Oh, this song is called I'm Always Smiling. I mean, that's a happy song title. I'm Always Smiling. That makes me happy. I guess we'll see when we actually play the lyrics, but that does it for Symphonic Rain. Now we get to go into the refrain arc, which is Alfine, and then of course we unlock Alfine di Capo Grand Symphony Symphonic Rain, which is the grand finale, which is only like an hour long, and Alfine isn't actually that long either. We're of course gonna get started on that. This is gonna be interesting. There it is, always smiling. Yay. We hadn't heard the always crying. We haven't heard, or even when crying, we haven't heard always close to you. We haven't heard Faye. I don't know what those songs are probably going to be the well, always close to you is in here, but we haven't actually like talked about it. Alright, you guys ready for this whole game to reset? I feel like super sad right now, but there's nothing sad going on. This song's hit different. Alright. Oh, good God. In the end, Torta didn't visit me that night. Or maybe she came but went home. I still didn't know what area Torta talked about, but I did know one thing. Torta wouldn't be with me anymore? The note I left for Torta still laid unread. Perhaps I shouldn't have let Arrieta leave then, or maybe it was Torta and I's destiny to be together. Regardless, it was impossible. The only reason was that Arrieta had come here. Whatever happened, it was my fault. I knew that. The graduation ceremony had finished without incident the day before, and I was headed to the station alone. I was preparing to leave the city. I had already sent home anything too large to fit in the bag I was carrying. The furniture came with the apartment, so it would have just been used by a first student. Forney hadn't shown herself. Though, it would have been nice if she had lashed me for being a coward. Maybe Forney should just wait quietly for the next person to come. With my head down, I walked through the city of rain to fall on my body. The familiar voice made me raise my head. I'm sorry about before. Torta? Hurrying over to her, she turned her face away from me and screamed. Don't come any closer. What? I stopped suddenly, guessing the meaning of the words. Sorry. Yeah? She hadn't forgiven me. I didn't understand the reason, but I understood Torta's intention. No, I'm the one who's sorry. You're riding the next train? You? I'm on the same. Do you want to ride in different cars? I want to talk. Talk? About me and Arrieta. If you think it's necessary, I don't mind. I want to ask you some things as well. I might not be able to tell everything. Well, that's okay. Okay. Then a strong wind blew. There was sand in the wind, and I squinted to keep my eyes out. Where should I begin? She gazed into the distance while holding her hair. She gripped the ribbon that always held her hair up. It fluttered in the wind, drawing gentle lines. Let us begin at the beginning. Or maybe, let us begin at the end. She mumbled these words that I didn't understand. The time the train departure was drawing near. Even so, Torta made no move to leave. Let's go back home. Alright. Let's get bussin'. It's time. I think Alfina should be in the menu now. Ah. Okay, let us begin. That rain meter is non-existent. The winter sun was neither strong nor weak. The smell of rosemary wafted on the wind from plants near the window. I spent that warm afternoon with a letter from Chris. Dear Arrieta. Whoa! He has a voice actor! Dear Arrieta, I'm writing you from the City of Rain. Letters from Chris always began the same. You wrote that you were a little happy, Ari, but I don't think you could enjoy day after day of rain like this. I'm used to it now, but I think you'd hate it. If I could share it with you, I'd do so happily. but I want you to live happily under a sunny sky, so I'll stop thinking about that. The blue sky, that suits you. At first I laughed about how stupid it sounded, but in the end I started thinking your way. About the graduation recital, I'm with a whole bunch of people now. I'm not much of a people person, so you could probably compliment me for trying so hard. I'm practicing with Torta too, and I feel like she's the best suited for me. I think that would be the case even if you hadn't suggested it. I'm sure you'll feel better if it's Torta, so don't worry. But she practices so hard I feel like it's wasted on someone lazy like myself. I haven't decided anything yet, so I'll just stop talking about it now. I'll write the details in my next letter. Congratulations about the bakery, by the way. I remember the taste of bread you made before, but I'm sure you've even gotten better since then. I'm eagerly awaiting that day too. Chris. 15th of December. I wanted to take my time reading the letter, but I didn't have time. I pressed the letter written down carefully and neatly for a boy quietly to the chest, and then I looked out the window at the sky Chris described. So she does exist. It really was a beautiful blue sky. We were supposed to be under the same sky, but it always rained where Chris was. It seemed unbelievable, but it was the truth. No matter how much it didn't rain here, that didn't change. That was the difference between Chris and I. It was far, it truly had gotten far. I wondered over and over if there was anything I could do to reduce that distance. I was doing the best that I could, but was that not enough? Chris would probably come back home after he graduated, back under this blue sky, meaning me. Chris, I murmured inwardly, and I looked at the sky one more time. She does exist! I wondered if that sky really did suit me. I was wrong? A week prior, December 8th. Dear Arrieta, I'm writing to you in the city of rain from the city of rain. I'm kidding. I'm sure the rain will have stopped by the time this letter... You're probably looking up at the blue sky now. I wrote that because it's a little rare for it to rain there. It really is rare for me to be... It really is rare for it to be raining there as well. The image of the city is so strong in my mind that I was thinking about stupid things like it wouldn't even ever rain where you're at. Still, the city in my memory is always sunny. All I can remember is walking with you in the sunshine, the smell of the warm air. I remember it so much in detail, but I almost can't remember any rainy days. That reminds me, you wrote that Torta was worried about the graduation recital, but it's not like I didn't want to look seriously. I'm only serious about things I like. I guess I shouldn't say that, but I still have some time and it's extremely important, so I want to take some more time to decide. Unfortunately, I haven't decided on anyone yet, but I found some candidates. But it's okay. I'm doing it properly now, so I'm not mad. Torta is one of the candidates, but I feel like I depend on her too much, so it's hard to ask. Everyone around me says I should do that though, and I think so too, but I want to think a little bit more about this. Oh, right. I've never thought about you worrying about me was meddlesome. It's okay. I know that you're worried about Arrieta because... I know that you're worried about Ari because this is all anyone talks about lately, but I'm doing the best I can, so don't worry too much. Until next letter then, Chris. The rain that fell last week stopped about just a day, and there was no trace of it now. The light coming into the window was too bright, making me want to shut my eyes, so I was a little happy when it rained, just like the letter said, because I could feel the same rain that Chris did, because I felt closer to him. The rain always stopped right away, and I couldn't help feeling the distance between Chris and myself. I was waiting for the rain, in the city of rain. Question mark? We go another week into the past. Rain fell for the first time in a long time. I wondered how many months it had been. I hear that it used to rain often in this city, but it's seldom now. Now it was sunny and the soil of the plant was dry and cracked. When I went near the window, the smell of rosemary got stronger. I broke off a piece and brought it to my nose. Maybe I would use that to cook. Or maybe I could warm it up into tea. I was thinking about this while gazing out the window when I saw someone come to the mailbox. It was the mailman. Today was the day Chris's letter would arrive. It was the most important day to me, while also being the day that made my heart hurt the most. I hurried downstairs to get the letter and I went right back to my room. The days were short, I didn't have time to relax. I cut open the envelope and pulled the letter out. Dear Arrieta, I'm writing to you from the city of rain. It really has been 3 years. I just thought about what you said. It really was long. Maybe what I really want to say is being told that there's suddenly 3 months left doesn't feel real. I kind of understand why you're afraid of that day. There's been too much time when I couldn't see you, and being apart has become too normal. The future seems so far away now that I can't see it. But even so, there really is only 3 months left, and I think that time might seem longer until now. I don't really know any of the details of the recital, so I can't write the details. Depending on my partner, I might be practicing every day. I don't know if Torta wrote about it, but I'm doing the best I can, so please don't worry about me too much. I will never make you wait for another year. Until the next letter, Chris. I will never make you wait another year. I repeated those words once more in my heart. Chris's graduation, 3 months. That was certain. Right. I was afraid that day would come. Chris was probably afraid too. I mean, when that day came, he would have to know. About me, the other twin. About the lie I was telling and the truth I forgot. That's why I was afraid of his graduation. It would be better if it just kept raining. If the lie became truth. If this world could just become as nice as the lie that I was telling. That's all I was thinking about. I thought someone called me from downstairs. I stood in the mirror and I fixed my hair. I wanted to put my hair back up, but again my name was called. She couldn't see something so detailed, so I took my eyes off the mirror and walked downstairs. Until the next letter, then, Chris. We're going a week back into the past. Again! In the letter that arrived today, Chris didn't talk about his graduation recital, even though November was almost over, even though there was only 2 months left until the recital. I wrote my letter quick and started ready to go out. The contents were about Torta being worried, and then it was nothing special. It was a letter of lies stacked on lies, all for Chris. If you were counting, the majority was truth, and only the small amount remaining was lies. Each lie was so big that I was afraid to tell him the truth. That's why I couldn't continue writing. I had to do that. Going over these things in mind, I tied up my hair and I braced myself. When I did that, my face changed. It was like I'd become someone else. No, the other person that reflected wasn't the me in the mirror. The person who was in front of me up until a moment ago wasn't me. I moved my hands and the ribbon away and let my hair down. Arrieta? My older twin sister was talking to me from the mirror. I was doing that a lot recently. I felt like she was talking to me from inside the mirror. You're silly. I mumbled this and tied up my hair again. I am Tortanita. I called my name once and undid the buttons to the back as I got undressed. I'll be right back. Alright, be safe, hurry home. It's fine, I'm just gonna go send a letter. You always say that and come back late. These things happen. Alright, I'm off. I changed into my normal outfit and ran outside. Now I almost couldn't feel any of my earlier depression. When I wrote letters, sometimes I certainly felt like I was somebody else. Not that I was Tortanita, but I was Arrieta. Even so, I was Tortanita. I wasn't writing lies. My feelings about Chris was true. I could swear that that was the truth. I had liked Chris for a super long time, way before my sister did. I came to the road to the old district and walked to the mailbox. The 2 envelopes were properly affixed with red stamps for express mail and had proper postage, which was expensive. I checked them again and tossed them into the mailbox. It was still past 3 o'clock. Letters were usually taken from this mailbox between 4 and nighttime. Because there was no way the city except by train, and the time would change depending on the day, I was frequently just on time for the earliest collection, but I had never been late, and I wouldn't be in the future. Torta, huh? Hey, we get our first look at his CG too, or his character model. Why are you here? Oh, I should ask you. You got home early. My pulse quickened. I didn't think he saw me, but it was careful. Yeah, my lesson... Also, it's not raining. Huh! My lesson is finished, so I practiced a little on my own. Just a little? Oh, come on. You mean the 2 hours since we parted after lunch? I'd appreciate it if you just rephrase that as 2 whole hours. I wrote about his partner in the letter from Aries, so I didn't mention it. Regardless, he wasn't mentioning the letters of the mailbox, so I thought I was fine. It's a free country, isn't it? I suppose that's true. It was a good thing Chris didn't notice. My original shock slowly subsided as we spoke. I'd gotten insanely good at lying. It wasn't something to brag about, but it was most necessary. More than my singing ability, more than anything. Don't you have anything to do today? That's already done. That was the truth. I had already sent the letters. Yeah, you're as strict as time as ever. He said that with understanding. It was almost a compliment. The fact that Chris didn't ask what I was doing was proof of his prudence. Maybe he was unconsciously afraid of knowing, or maybe it was a clumsy way of caring. What are you up to today? Nothing. Going home. I see. I'm going shopping now. Want to come? No, I don't have any shopping to do. Well, I'll see you tomorrow then. Yeah, see you tomorrow. He went home as if nothing had happened. When nothing was going on, whenever I invited him, Chris would always run away. He was probably doing it out of consideration for my sister, but that was strange as well. All those letters that Chris was sending to Ari were actually to me. This isn't even a spoiler at this point. We called it. And Chris believed it blindly. Perhaps Chris would listen to the words in a letter from Ari more than if I said them. I felt the hard to resist pull of that dark power and it frightened me, but in the end I wrote it in the letter. Why not Torta? I was a terrible woman. So wait, does she like break the mailbox to pull it out, or... Please don't tell me Arrieta's dead. I'm for real start crying. I did some basic shopping like I told Chris, and I arrived at the train station. I could still remember every detail of the words Chris said when we arrived in the city. I could hear the sound of rain. That was 3 years ago. He said that. Chris? He slumped in his seat and gazed outside with dead eyes. No matter what I said, he never replied. Maybe I shouldn't have forced him to leave the hospital. But that wasn't just my decision. Everyone got him out. I thought it was the best thing at the time, and now that we'd come this far, it was too late. The scene outside the window suddenly changed, and I turned to look at it. When we left the tunnel, the sky was dark. Chris? He suddenly covered his ears and curled into a ball. Are you okay? Several people who had already returned from the sleeping car looked at us. It's alright. I said that as I couldn't hold him, and I just moved close to him and I stroked his hair. His eardrums had ruptured the week before, and the holes hadn't healed. That being said, there was no external injuries. The change in air pressure from leaving the tunnel probably just hurt his ears. I should have made him lie down, but there was no time to regret it. Hey, it's alright. Arrieta? He raised his head and said this, but his face was expressionless. Toward Anita. Where? We're on the train. We're headed to the city of Piova. Train? His memory seemed foggy, but it seemed still a little better before when he didn't recognize anything. We're gonna attend the Piova School of Music, remember? Yeah. And we're on the train headed to Piova. Yeah. I didn't know if I should even explain the rest. I was silent and then he said something. Rain? What? It's raining. It's not raining. Oh. He no longer looked to be in pain, but he pressed his fingers to his ears. The doctor had said that he'd hear a ringing in his ears, so I wasn't worried about that. I was more concerned with the unhealed wound on his heart. I didn't know when that wound would heal either. But it seemed he had calmed down. I moved my gaze out to the window too. On the night before leaving the city, Arrieta and Chris were involved in an accident. That being said, the one who was seriously injured was Arrieta, not Chris. Chris went into shock after seeing Arrieta fall in front of him, and his eardrums ruptured from the sound of their car exploding. Arrieta's injuries were more serious. She hit her head and was still unconscious in the hospital. One week later, Chris never woke up, and when he did, he had no memory of the accident. The damage to his eardrums was light, and it would heal on its own. What was more worrying was his mental state. I'd let him know about Arrieta later, so for the time being I brought him to the school and I would check on him while he was attending. That was the solution that both of our parents had come up with. The role I was given was the one with responsibility. I couldn't handle the pressure and I wanted to internally scream. I desperately held it in and moved to the seat next to him. He was still looking outside. I quietly touched his hand on my knee and etched its warmth in my heart. I'll protect you no matter what. Arrieta wasn't here. Maybe she wasn't anywhere. Chris was mine now. In the end, the sleeping car tickets I hurried to weren't even used once. The reason why was that Chris didn't want to move from the unassigned seats with the windows. My whole body was sore. I'd already released my grip on his hand, but the feeling remained in my palm. Chris looked down and mumbled something with his bag. The city of rain. What? It's always raining, right? Well, yeah. The city was the city of rain, but that was like 100 years ago. One of the mountains surrounding the city erupted, and due to the ash, there was a period. It seemed like for a long time it did nothing but rain. That's where the city's named from, and many structures and buildings still showed signs. But Chris should have known that was in the past. What was he on about? So it is true. What's true? As I asked him that, I was unbelievably happy at him calling my name. Can't you see it? Huh? Can't you hear it? What? The rain. Man, okay. Well, this doesn't hurt because we called it. I think I said this like weeks ago. I just started piecing things together. I thought that she had been dead though and had died for quite some time. Obviously the whole thing with the accident and all that kind of stuff is beyond me, but this is insanely good. I mean, it's cool that we called it, but this has been a ride. That's what I'm thinking. I'm 100% certain that well, we said that was his. He was a schizophrenic, and he was just imagining Forney. Oh, man. Alright. Well, we continue to read. Okay. Whenever I sent the letters, I would sit on the rim of the fountain and think about the past. Chris got a fever right after that and slept it for 3 days at my grandma's house. He'd probably already forgotten that I even nursed them together. No, it's probably better that he didn't remember. After that, I talked with my grandma and stopped denying the rain hallucinations and sounds to Chris. I still don't know if that was the correct decision. Chris didn't lose his mind like that again, and he still looked relatively healthy. Chris? Until that time came for him to know the truth, I decided I would protect him until he was ready to accept it, and that was still going on. I learned about their promise to write letters a week after that. It was all written in a letter from Chris to Ari that came from my house. About the drawer, the empty envelopes that she gave him. I wrote a reply and sent it to the express mail back to my house to deal with the problem of the postmark. The only time that a letter didn't reach Chris during all of that, I covered up with the lie that Ari had injured herself in an unfamiliar workplace. I wondered how many lies I had told him up until that point. I was sure, too, I was going to have to continue to tell them. Thinking of him, I mumbled his name once more, but I couldn't hear the sound of rain. I came to the cafeteria for my lunch, the same as always. The seat by the window Chris was sitting at was in our special table. I heard he was watching the rain, but I didn't know why. It was the same to me whether or not it was falling. Morning. He was stirring his spoon disinterestedly to the risotto on his plate. Oh. Hey, morning. Chris had put his bag on a seat next to him for me, as always, but it must have been open because there was sheet music poking out. Huh? This. I was interested, so I pulled it out. What's sheet music? It's a song for the recital? For now. Do you have the whole thing? For now. That habit of saying just for now. You're telling me to stop it, right? I'm working on it. For now, right? I stopped the aimless exchange there and asked him. Though that type of back and forth was when I sensed the most happiness. Can I look? Go ahead. Okay, thanks. In my head I replayed the notes on the sheet music. It took some time to imagine the sounds and I recognized it as a piece of music. There was no lyrics, so I just tried singing the scales. It was a very sad melody, very much like him. There were far more dark chords and cheery ones, and the song followed that. It certainly seemed like it would suit his forte. But I thought he used to write happier songs. I had read it in the end, so I stacked the sheet music in order. Chris had finished eating at the same time and looked at me as if he wanted to hear my opinion. It's pretty good. Hey, thanks. You did what you needed to. Did you think I was doing nothing this whole time? You know you haven't chosen a partner yet. I haven't. No matter how good the song is... Ah, Miss Cordell gave me the same talk. Oh, well, she's right. But why both of you? We're into December. You have 2 months left until the recital, man. Wouldn't you say 2 whole months? No, I wouldn't. I'm gonna have my lunch. Go ahead. I used that opportunity to open the lunch I packed for myself. I hadn't told Chris, but I got much better at cooking. But that wasn't something Chris should know. Ari was the one who could cook, not me. That year I had finally gotten to the point where I wouldn't mind letting Chris eat my cooking. But even though I worked to gain the skill, the only time I used it was with Arrieta. Even that was once a year, if it happened at all. Do you have any ideas? That may be the case, so you don't. Hey, don't jump to conclusions. I know that. I was already used to Chris's tone when he was covering something up. No, it's not like I don't have any ideas. My mouth was full, but his words surprised me, so I spoke in spite of myself. Hey, don't talk with your mouth full. Ah, it's course. It's someone other than me, right? Yeah. There is someone? You seem surprised. By the way, who? I thought I always knew what Chris was doing, so I could follow him through with my lies. To the end, to buy time. That was even the case with the rain hallucination. I was very careful to ensure that Chris wouldn't talk about it with someone and end up just embarrassing himself. Oh, it's nothing. He shut his mouth, looking like he had said more than he should have. It wasn't his light tone a moment ago to cover things up. It was the tone he used when he was ashamed. So you really did do it. I couldn't dismiss the possibility that it was a girl. No, even if it was a boy, he might say things he shouldn't. I kind of did. What? Even I could hear the irritation in my voice. I knew it was jealousy, but... And then Chris... decision here is... Did not deny it. Do you really choose the options that you give Chris now? This changes everything. He didn't deny it. He didn't deny it. I'm not doing nothing. Oh, that's good then. It's a girl? The sense of duty that made me need to investigate my mistone with a jealousy woman when I said this was a thorny one. What do you mean a girl? I'm asking if it's a girl. Have you heard the rumors? You know much about that stuff, Chris. You answered my question, and you don't know that I don't know. So it is. I hated myself for asking if it was a girl. But who it was wasn't the problem. Well, you hesitated. Of course I hesitated. Which meant he felt regret. Maybe I should tell my sister. That's why I brought her up. Even if Chris bent to that, there was nothing good. There was no mistake that what was motivating me was the last fortress in my heart. The fact I was the one sending the letters. This is some Final Fantasy VI Cyan stuff, man. This has nothing to do with Ari. Alright, I get it. So you're ready to confess. Confess? Odd choice of words, huh? At the same time, he rang with defeat. I couldn't sense any regret, and instead the normal cheer had returned to his voice like he was apologetic. I said I had an idea, but the truth is I hadn't decided yet. If it comes to the crunch, Cordell will ask the voice student. Ah, so that means you haven't decided yet. I had to work a little bit not to let the happiness show in my voice, maybe. So you're slacking. Yeah, I suppose. It's like you think it's someone else's job to get your partner. Ah, you could feel that. Or I'm sorry, you could say that. It doesn't feel real. This isn't the time for that kind of thing. The time doesn't matter. Things usually just move ahead when the time comes, don't they? But if they don't, I'll think about it then. Is that bad? I heaved a big sigh and I forgave him. Wanting to put it off, I suppose I could understand. Well, alright, this is just like you. Thanks for understanding. Well, what was the rumor you were on about? So you didn't know? No, so? It's the same old stuff. It's like some man and woman who perform together will end up together forever, something like that. It was something I heard from a voice student friend. It was talk you'd hear anywhere, but I guess there was grounds for it. Yeah, that's something you hear anywhere. Right. You don't seem interested. I mean, people whose tastes match tend to match up as people, too. They form long hours together, like so many same things, similar goals. Yeah, right. He said this devoid of all interest. Of course you're not interested. That made me a little happy, so I smiled faintly. I haven't decided on my partner yet. And yet you go on with such confidence. Go on? About the psychology of men and women in love. Even though you said more than half of it. You were right there with me, Chris. It doesn't suit you. Who doesn't? At least I have a GF. My big sister doesn't count. You ended up here just because you were friends. You're one to talk. You've never had a relationship. Big words for someone who thinks what they know isn't there all there is to know. After saying this with a smile, he gazed out the window and he was lost in thought. I didn't talk to him at times like these. I knew it was a habit of him. I'd seen Ari smiling when waiting for him to finish so many times. But maybe that's what Chris wanted. I watched Chris' face like that and I realized he noticed me. I made sure he was fully with me and I spoke. You're lost in thought. Oh, yeah, sorry. It's fine. Anyways, you both have to find a partner soon, okay? Or you have to find a partner soon, okay? And if it was me, that would be for the best. I know, I will. Really? Really, Cordell's on my case too. What about you? Me? You have a partner? No. But you said, I think it would be best if you didn't say anymore, okay? What? He asked curiously like he really didn't realize. If he was thinking of voice and Fortelli students as one, I was amazed, but I explained it carefully. Voice students can perform solo. Well, the marks are better when they're prepared, but there's quite a few people who work alone. So you're gonna perform solo? It'd be easier. Yeah, I see. And if a certain someone really can't find a partner, it would be better if there was at least one candidate open for him, right? That's why I wasn't paired with anyone other. That's why I wasn't paired with anyone. I had been asked by many young male students that I knew, but I turned them all down in the end. Because we always ate lunch together like this, most other students basically understood our relationship. Chris was the only one who didn't. Even the people that asked me seemed to know, and they had asked about my relationship with him. I told them that I liked them, and that finished everything. If I was nice to them, they'd leave me alone about it. It was my plan that no one more people would ask me. Thank you. After a long silence, he said this as if ashamed. Chris realized how I felt. I wasn't trying to hide it. If I made it obvious to Chris and his feelings changed towards me, I really did have silly ideas like that. But at that moment, it didn't seem like I'd been successful. But that doesn't mean you need to look. I know, but the fact that I didn't want to, but nevertheless had to, was a little hard for me. Don't you think it's unfair that vocalists are free to choose? No, I don't. I mean, just thinking about being able to play the Fortelli gets student special treatment at the school. I didn't ask for that. And it may be special treatment, but I still work hard. I can't help if I was born this way, right? Being born like this isn't... Arrieta in the hospital, I wonder if that's what she meant by, release. When he stays in the hospital for, he says, and she says, is this your idea of atonement? That just came to my thought. Only for the rarity value. He seemed uninterested, but he said like he really meant it. I wouldn't want him to become as brazen as Asino, but it wasn't so good that he was so detached. But that was also a good thing about Chris, and it was something I enjoyed about him. I think it's amazing you're not trying to be humble. You really feel that way. Ah, what a compliment. Well, maybe it wasn't. Which is it? Well, why don't you choose? Okay, then it wasn't. Fine, of course you'd be negative. As we talked like this, time passed. I glanced at the clock and realized it was almost time for lunch. In the end, I decided to ask Chris just to be sure. Oh, do you want me to introduce you to some people? I wasn't very serious, but the situation dictated that I had to say. I thought I said it as cheerfully as I could. I'll take you up. Unexpectedly, Chris wanted to look and nodded. Okay, I'll ask around. There was a lot of people I had to think about, but being with Chris now made me happy. I didn't have the ability to escape the complicated web of truth and lies. At times like this, I was a little girl. I had promised to pretend to be calculating and lie to protect Chris, but it was still true that just being with him made me happy. Right, but you have ideas, right? I know what you lack, just stick with me. Yeah, okay. First, right. We left the cafeteria and walked straight to the hallway along the practice rooms. On Mondays, the rooms were full of students who were making up for missing 2 days of practice over the weekend, but it wasn't perfect at the moment. I was always with Chris, so I didn't have many acquaintances either. I thought this place really gave me the best chance of seeing someone I recognized. What are we doing here? Oh, I just figured I'd ask someone that I knew. I answered Chris, fidgeting behind me while I peeked into the small window of a practice room. Ask them? How? In one of the practice rooms was a friend I always talked to, but we weren't close. But I had no intention of introducing him to a girl. I remembered saying that I was looking for a partner for a Vertelli student, but she knew about Chris and I, so it was nothing more than me asking her indirectly. Of course, I didn't let Chris know. If it was necessary, I could always rely on Ass to know, though I didn't really see a need for that. Oh, not someone I know. Here we are. I ignored him and peeked into the next room where I saw the face of a boy who I knew. I remembered his name. Wait a sec. A small sound must have reached him. He came out after a while. Well, I suppose that was the expected reaction. I never would have talked to him normally, yet here I was suddenly knocking on the door. Well, Tortanita. Hey, even so I wanted to give a bad impression. I continued talking about the subject. Saying this, I finally told him while I was there. I introduced Chris simply and stepped back about half a step so they could talk. I thought he'd at least introduce himself, but he stood there, troubled. Chris? Afternoon. Anyways, in the end, no matter how much I talked him up, it was obvious to anyone that how little Chris wanted to do it, and we were unable to find anyone willing to partner up with a student like that. Even if a person like that existed, they'd have to be incredibly curious or be charmed with the sound of Chris's Fortelli, or someone who liked him as much as I did. I was secretly satisfied with the outcome, and I needed to hide that. So what are you doing today? Oh, same as yesterday. In the cafeteria, our search of talking for a partner for Chris continued. You're still gonna give those unmotivated replies. That's why you can't find anyone. I know. Do you want me to go again with you today? I'll pass. Today's Tuesday. It is, but I'm worried about you. I'm fine. I can't keep troubling you. Alright then. Maybe Chris was pretending to look for while waiting for me to go home. No, contrary to his expectation, he may have actually been looking. I didn't know how he was doing it, but it seemed like I couldn't leave it to him. I left Chris in the cafeteria gazing out the window. I'm home. Ah, welcome home.
Okay.
She's already here today. Yes, ma'am. Air filled with powder, possibly flour, came wafting out the kitchen. That's how I known she'd started cooking. Torta, you're there. You're late. I'm sorry I'm late. Miss Meyer, I guess, would probably be whatever. I heard she was already in her 60s, but she was in such good shape that she didn't look it and her gulp was steady. She was a friend who drank tea with my grandma and went to the small mini concerts held throughout the city. She came by every Tuesday. My grandma actually wanted to go to Miss Meyer's house today, but her legs were always so bad and Miss Meyer was in good health, so she came to us. Miss Meyer had been working in a bakery until recently, and since she was teaching me how to make bread, every Tuesday was the cooking class. It's all coming together. Of course, we didn't actually have a formal agreement, and since I would have to start practicing for the graduation recital, I had already told her I may not be able to get home while she was still there. I needed to learn as much as I could so I could pretend to be Arrieta, though. You don't have to worry about it. You're too busy, right, Torta? I'm just baking because I like it. No, there's so much I want you to teach me, though. For almost 3 years, Chris hadn't eaten Arrieta's bread. He didn't seem suspicious of that, but I wanted to make him some for Christmas. At times like that, I realized that I often felt like Ari did. Every time I let my hair down and looked in the mirror, I couldn't help but think that, and especially when I wrote his letters. Now, let's practice baking today. I've already made the dough. Do you want to try from scratch next week? Yeah. Do your best. She always put time... Oh, sorry. She put me before spending time with her friends. I was really glad that my grandma said that. I had lunch with Chris in the cafeteria as always, and I'm really excited to see her opinion on Falsita. It seemed that Chris was looking hard for a partner in his own way. I warmed up my voice and sang solo while playing the piano. I cared about Chris, but if the vital one failed, I couldn't be with him. The both of us repeating a year, the fact that I even thought about that meant I was starting to reach my limit. Frankly, pretending to be Arrieta was hard. Chris liked Arrieta, and I continued to send letters pretending to be her. Grounded by those words, Chris was somehow managing his life as a student. But even though I was the one actually supporting him, I had to continue hiding that. I was me. The one sending the letters was me, and the one Chris liked was me. So who am I? Well, I'm Tortanita. But to Chris, I'm Arrieta. I was losing myself, and in the face of that unease, I was slowly but surely starting to hope it would all come to an end. Though I couldn't imagine what was waiting at that time, so I had two choices. I can continue pretending to be Ari. The other choice was to make Ari seem cold and then break them up. It was a terrible thought, but I just had it many times. But in the end, I was unable to do that. I loved my sister. I couldn't concentrate on practice, and the next thing I knew, I was standing outside. I didn't want to go home, so I wandered around the hallways. I noticed Chris, who was slightly ahead of me. I thought to run up and talk to him, but I noticed someone... Ah, here we go! Someone was with him. It looked like a female student. It didn't look like they happened to be walking down the same hallway. She was following him. That was my initial impression, but I didn't recognize this girl. No, I did. I thought that was the student who was the class president. If it wasn't a coincidence, I lost my chance to call to them, so I followed them stealthily. I knew that I must have looked suspicious to onlookers. Chris was gazing blankly in front of the sky in front of the entryway. The person I saw closed in from behind. It seemed I wasn't wrong. I knew exactly what I was doing, but I couldn't get closer. And then... Would you like to share? Huh? He looked at her with an expression of surprise. I was watching from a shadow in the entryway. It is difficult to hear their voices, but it wasn't that I couldn't hear them. The strange scene riveted me. I was at a loss for words. He gazed in blank amazement at Falsita's umbrella that she had brought upon. He looked over at her again. You're... Falsita. Falsita Fawcett. With the cheery voice, the girl calling herself Falsita introduced her with a grin. She moved her gaze from Chris to still stunned to my direction and cocked her head to the side. Then we looked at each other. It was just for an instant that she looked at Chris again and she grinned. Something wrong? No. Let's just walk. Okay. Saying this, they both walked away from where I was at. I couldn't follow them. Many of the other students on campus had stopped to look at the strange scene. Everyone stared at the odd sight of two students walking under an umbrella under a sunny sky. Chris didn't notice, he just gazed at the umbrella in curiosity. When Chris held the umbrella for her, I went back into the school. She knew Chris's secret? No, that question didn't merit consideration. If I hadn't told anyone, did he tell her? The person that knew Chris's secret and was hiding it. But I told him that he had to keep the secret of the rain. Asino. It didn't seem possible to talk to him today, but I had to make sure quickly. Also, if he hadn't said anything, I needed to talk to her. My pulse pounding. Somehow, I knew she didn't plan to tell Chris the truth about the rain. But why? Why would she do that? I wondered how she found out. Just her knowing was a huge problem. For now, I had to talk to Asino tomorrow. It's all freaking happening. Lunch as always, and the same scene. I was waiting for Chris. I didn't think about the day before. Or couldn't stop thinking about the day before. Chris stared at me slightly angry as he said that. Was it even showing on his face? With nothing else to do, I answered lightly, like I was thinking about his search for his partner. So what are you going to do today? What am I going to do? I've just started, so I'm going to look without rushing it. You need to rush things a little. I've already found candidates. Really, that's good. Really, so don't worry. Okay, well, I'm going to go home. See you tomorrow. I managed to keep up appearances and walked into the hallway. I was fine. I didn't think I acted differently today than normal. Chris cheerfully showed me out as if he hadn't noticed anything. That let me know what happened yesterday to him wasn't a big deal. It seemed this female student named Falsita Fawcett didn't tell Chris about the rain. Of course, if she was going to tell him, she wouldn't have taken those steps with the umbrella. Why? I couldn't find an answer, but I couldn't ask him directly either. I hid in the shadows and waited for Chris to come out. Good. Chris left before lunch. It was Thursday, the day before the letter with Chris would arrive. And it was also the day I had to send my letter. I had to catch Asano in front of the classroom and talk to him, so then I would send the letter. I followed Chris carefully so he wouldn't notice me seeing what his plans for the day were. I saw that Chris was planning to search for candidates in the school today, so I hurried to the first hall. I checked the clock and saw it was 10 minutes before the end of the lunch break. It was something that would take only 5 minutes, so I'd make it if Asano came to Miss Cordell's room. Regardless, I couldn't go inside to check, so I'd be at a loss if Asano had arrived. I decided just to wait till 5 minutes before. I had to write the letter, so I couldn't wait any longer than that. Hey, Torta and Chris. A little while later, he finally showed up. You're late. For what? I still have 5 minutes. Well, whatever. So, you were waiting for me? Yeah. Huh? Falsita. You know her? Yeah. She's a candidate, actually. She's gonna be my partner. Impressive. Why? Why'd you tell her? Well, that's frank. I don't like beating around the bush. Why? Because she asked me. She asked me about him. And you told her why? Weren't you listening? She asked me. You remembered your promise to me. Don't tell anyone else, right? I remember, but I didn't say I'd keep it. I thought that was your promise. I said that was venom, but the smug boy in front of me answered unmoved. I just answered, I don't know. 3 years ago, it was true. He did actually answer, I don't know. It was plain that it was an answer given an understanding. I thought that it wasn't very much like him to give such an indirect answer, but that's just how it was. I still remember what happened 3 years prior. It wasn't to speak poorly of people. Your reasoning? Torta. He said my full name without shortening it. Coming from him, it was an insult, but I didn't want to correct him. What? It doesn't have anything to do with you. If it had nothing to do with me, I wouldn't be here. I'm saying that what I said is none of your business, so don't make me repeat myself. So you do like her then, right? Huh? You idiot. Don't you know why she asked you? She's using you. She wants Chris to be her partner. Yeah, but it's a problem of musical chemistry. She's not a match for Chris. She'll be my partner. She's a match with me. He was being used. She's going to try performing with lots of people then decide. Chris was just one of the candidates. So am I, of course. So, that's why. She asked you about Chris's secret? She didn't ask. It just came up in conversation. A fun chat? Was she happy by what she heard? What are you trying to say? I'm saying I'm in trouble because of the subject you chose to talk about with a girl you like. Is it really that hard to understand? Yeah. Brush up on your language studies. Maybe you should become a man who has more things to talk about. So, let me guess. Fall told Chris the truth? No, well, that's besides the point. Well, I made her promise that she would never tell him the truth, so that's enough. Let me check one thing. She didn't ask you, right? She said that Chris was a little strange, so I said... I told her. She asked about a lot of other Fortelli majors, though, too. I see. Well, thank you. Did that mean she was simply looking for a partner? But if that was the case, she didn't need the umbrella, so... One more thing, go ahead. What's so great about him anyway? He's so intense, I can't take it. You're his friend, aren't you? Shouldn't you know better than anyone? Tortanita, I'm asking for your reason. So, Asano's actually a scumbag. In the Falsita route, when she goes full Machiavelli and makes Chris turn on him and vice versa, it was actually out of Chris's best interest. She was right. She did nothing wrong. It's not that he's not like you. You're always so cute when it comes to him. It's scary to be so embroiled in it. So, let me guess. You're going to use him too, to get closer to Falsita? Yep. Friends are there to be used, don't you know? That's the world. He has real ability. I would lose nothing besides being friends with him. Of course, if I stood to lose, I would toss him aside like nothing. He said this with a wry tone. He had the same kind of thing when he said about the same first time when he had Chris, but I just couldn't think he would do that. He played the sarcastic cynic, but I thought he was a good person. He was popular, and he was arrogant, so I figured he just wasn't good at relating to people. He got along with Chris because Chris wasn't the type to care about that, so if it wasn't Asano dining to be his friends, he might think. Just make sure you don't get tossed aside by him. That's not even funny. I haven't seen The Sopranos, so I'm going to assume that you are accurate in that. But yes, Falsita actually, in the Falsita route, used everyone to like the extent where she knew Asano was a scumbag, and then used him to get exposed at the end, so that way he would be the one getting tossed aside, like how he said he wanted to do to Chris. This game just got like 12 times deeper. You'll laugh at it eventually. Well, it's time. See ya, Asano Altieli. Yep. Asano entered the classroom. He would be fine. He talked like that, but in the end, he would never throw Chris away. That was a weakness, but I thought I'd leave that to Chris. Regardless, I would go talk to Fal tomorrow. Then I'd ask why she came to Chris. No, I knew the reason. She wanted Chris to be her partner. I wanted to ask why she did the umbrella thing. Oh, tomorrow's going to be interesting. Oh, welcome home. The letter wasn't there yet, so I went to my own room on the second floor. Normally the letter would arrive, then I'd change it to formal clothes. Clothes that Arrieta wore. Why? Wearing those clothes calmed me. It was like I became her when I wrote. I could also forget about Asano Altieli. I could forget about Falsita Fawcett. Rain fell for the first time. I wondered how many months it had truly been. I heard that it used to rain a lot, but it seldom does now. When I went near the window, the smell of rosemary got stronger. I broke off a piece and brought it to my nose. We've already read this. I left Kirsten in the cafeteria and headed to the Cenacolo. Today I had to investigate Falsita. I knew that she was a former class president. She was a third year, but I had no idea where she normally was. I came to a place where other students gathered. She practiced in the practice room at the end of the hallway. Oh, but she has her part-time job today. She'll probably only be there until after lunch. I was able to talk to some students who knew her sooner than I thought. No, most of her students knew her, and information about her was so widespread it was insane. She always used the practice room. Everyone left it alone. She worked part-time, but despite that, her skills as a performer were top of her class. The more I heard, the wonder if I could even wonder if she was a real person. But if I was going to talk to her, it had to be done now. The only days I didn't have her, she didn't have her part-time job were Tuesdays and Thursdays. If I waited a week, I wouldn't only be able to see her before her job. I went to the end of the hallway just as I was told. I waited for a few times, but everyone said was true. What's this? Oh, hello. Hey, Falsita. Tortanita, right? How do you know my name? You know my name too. Oh, sorry, I heard it from Asano. Asano? Something about Chris? Yeah, I have something to say about Chris. We could talk here, just come inside. No, what I had to say won't take very long. Well, okay. This is about Chris. I'll answer what I can. In exchange, I have one question, what I'm going to ask at the end. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks. Go ahead then. She was very difficult to talk to. I tried to put menace into my words, but she didn't notice. She let my thorny words pass over her, and I almost found myself having a pleasant conversation. You want Chris to be your partner? Yeah, I'm considering him as a candidate, I should say. As Asano a candidate? Yeah. I plan to perform with many people in we know this is a lie. Isn't it a little late for practice? Sorry, I've been busy. I see. My next question was the core. You could say that's why I came here. I was a little nervous, so I asked her in order to hide it. Why an umbrella? There was no rain. I heard from Asano that Chris sees phantom rain. why you gave Chris... No, that's not what I'm asking. Why would you give Chris, who is seeing Phantom Rain, an umbrella? Because he looked cold. He was looking up at the sky with a face like a child in the rain. Even though everyone was looking at you strangely? I don't care. Tortanita, I wouldn't tease Chris. I was worried about him. Why? I was charmed by the sound of his fortelli. You know it well. Is that all of your questions? Yeah. Then let me ask mine. Sure. Why? Why his hallucinations? I can't say. Why? It involves the privacy of others. Chris's privacy? Not only his, mine as well, and another someone that I love. I see. I was just wondering if there's anything I could do to help. Why do you care? Because I like Chris's music. And do you feel the same way about your other candidates? At the moment, Chris is the closest to my ideal, though I haven't performed with him yet. Oh. What you said before. Oh, about what you said. I feel like it's very complicated. About the past? I glared at her for her impudent questions. I didn't mean to pry, I'm sorry. If Chris is hurting, I just want to help him in the end. Even though I've only spoken to him once. Is that strange? Maybe. I don't know if it's strange or not, but it's definitely strange to ask me. You just met me. Oh, sorry, I'm doing the same thing. I don't mind, but if there's anything I can do, there's not. I see. If you become Chris's partner, though, there's another matter. His partner. Will you tell me what happened to him then? You want to know that badly? I am intrigued. The sound of his fortelli, his icy eyes. If you become Chris's partner, I'll tell you everything. Thanks. She bowed politely. She was glad. Then I imagined myself standing and looking down on that, and I felt terrible. Well, I'm sorry, but I have practice now. I didn't mean to take up your time. Will you be on time for work? As long as I leave here by 3 o'clock, I'll be on practice till then. I see. Sorry for coming out of you at the blue today. I'm glad we could talk. It's good to see you really care about Chris. But you have a weakness. There are truly things you can't understand on your own. What? Asano told me. You're trying to do it all for yourself. He said it's hard to watch. Tell him it's none of his business. It looks to me that way too. So it's none of my business. Well, no. I hope we talk again. Well, until then. With those words, she returned to the practice room as she looked at me sympathetically. Seeing her seemed to highlight the ugly part of myself, and this was hard to bear. I didn't imagine how hard or how good her grades were, but she was loved by many, and the fact that she truly wanted to help other people was amazing, though I hated to admit it. Which would really be best for Chris? I was feeling that I had been protecting Chris this whole time by myself, that I was the only one who could, but that just was pure arrogance. I was starting to wonder what was truly best. If Chris were to choose someone else as his partner, it may have been best for me to give up the responsibility, and then I should talk to everyone that Chris chose and ask them to do it, just as I'd promised her. But could I? No, I probably wouldn't have to. It would all be for Chris. Alright, we're hitting on 2 hours. I needed to drink some water, I ran out, so I'm going to go ahead and just end the stream here. We'll be back tomorrow, probably finish it up, because this isn't that long from what I had heard, and the final rout's only like an hour. If not, we'll finish it Saturday night, which was actually the margin that I wanted to finish it by, so if that would work in our favor there. So until tomorrow, this is so crazy. Alright, you guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed Schizophrenic Pain. Have a nice night, and see you guys tomorrow until we take on some more of this madness. Thank you again, you guys.